Good day. Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times for March 20, 2022. For today's editorial, DPRK now up against tougher South Korea. North Korea may have missed an opportunity to make peace with its southern neighbor as the new conservative president in Seoul promises to take a tougher stance against the regime of Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang. This concerns not just those in the Korean peninsula, but also the rest of the world, which is wary of the economic consequences of the conflict in Ukraine. Recently, conservative Yoon Suk-yeol won the presidential election in South Korea. He succeeded President Moon Jae-in, who tried but failed with rapprochement. The outgoing president held historic summits with Mr. Kim and was instrumental in arranging high-level meetings between North Korea and the United States when Donald Trump was in office. But the nuclearization was too big of an obstacle. The incoming South Korean president has said that he does not favor talks for talks' sake with Mr. Kim. Many were skeptical about his sincerity during these summits, and others argue that North Korea only responds to power. Perhaps the new policies will be more effective. Mr. Yoon's victory, albeit a narrow one, may be a sign that South Koreans have also grown frustrated over North Korea. Of course, domestic issues also loomed large during the campaign, but North Korea has been a perennial problem. South and North Korea remain officially at war, although fighting stopped when an armistice was signed in 1953. Since Mr. Kim became supreme leader in 2012, he has conducted more missile tests than his father and grandfather. He has also continued North Korea's nuclear weapons program. Ramping up these military programs increases the possibility of reigniting war in the Korean peninsula. Should that happen, the impact will be worse than what the world is already experiencing because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A resumption of war in the Korean peninsula could draw in the world's largest economies: China, the US, and Japan. Incoming President Yoon has a point in wanting to be tougher on North Korea. After all, years of reconciliatory approach have not worked, and one could argue that it would be foolish to continue trying the same thing but expecting a different result. As the newly elected leader, Mr. Yoon has earned the right to mix things up. If he is successful, the dividends of peace will be enjoyed by many. Obviously, peace favors the Koreans, both those in the south, as well as their poorer brethren across the 30th parallel. North Koreans could be better off now if their government spends more on basic services and less on weapons of mass destruction. North Korea may not need them anyway because China's and perhaps of Russia's nuclear umbrella provides its security. South Korea, for its part, is already a first world country, and the Philippines and others in Southeast Asia benefit from the success of South Korea, which has become an important trade and investment partner. South Korea is also part of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, a treaty that the Philippines will hopefully ratify soon. RCEP, which also includes China and Japan, came into effect last January, making it the largest free trade area in the world. The Philippines could see a 2% bump in its gross domestic product once it ratifies RCEP. The larger picture, so to speak, is that the Philippines and many others need peace and stability to grow their economies. A conflict in the Korean peninsula will disrupt that. Recovery from the pandemic's economic impact is already being hampered by skyrocketing fuel prices that may jack up prices of basic goods worldwide. Recently, the US Fed raised interest rates, which increases the cost of borrowings and slows down economic recovery by constraining spending and investments. Of course, the US hopes to curb inflation, but clearly there are downsides to rate hikes. Given all the problems of the world now, people should not have to worry about North Korea and an erratic Mr. Kim, who controls nuclear weapons. South Korean voters have grown exasperated, which is partly why Mr. Yoon was elected. For the sake of peace and prosperity, we hope he succeeds. And that's the editorial for Sunday, March 20, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the voice of the Times.